what the blue healers said about it because honestly, I can't remember. I do know, however, that they started to talk about the November forecast. So, for those of you who are new to me, new to this experience, the healers, the extra dimensional beings, have been coming up with a monthly forecast. So, yesterday they started to discuss a little bit about it, and I did kind of say, hey, wait, let's talk about that in the private session or one of the public sessions. So today, hopefully, we'll hear a little bit more about what's coming in November. Last weekend, I was in San Diego for a channeling conference. I got to spend some time with some of the people in this room, which was really wonderful for me. Thanks to those of you who came out and saw me in San Diego. And then, of course, I saw some speakers, met some great healers, vendors, and so on and so forth. So if you didn't hear my announcement last week, I'll say it again. I will be at a channeling conference in March. It is in Sedona, Arizona, and it is the Ascension Retreat. It's held every year. There are tons of great speakers, really, really wonderful. So, for those of you who are here from San Diego, you just met me there. Welcome. So great to see you. I did 16 channeling sessions during a 2-day period. It was cool. Got to see how you can rise up and dip in and rise up and dip in your consciousness and awareness. There is elasticity there. So that was a wonderful experience to get to try that out. So I'll be in Sedona again. The dates, I don't believe the dates are actually posted yet. I went to the website and it's not there yet, but we were told this when we were at the conference in San Diego that the Ascension Retreat in Sedona, Arizona in March is going to happen. So mark your calendars for that, especially if you live in the area. It's a really great place. If you've never been to Sedona, Arizona, I do recommend it. It's a hot spot for really fun stuff like this. That's all the announcements I have for today, I think. Nope, one more. And that is Kids Group is meeting this Saturday. So if you are part of the Dimensional Kids group and you haven't seen the announcement, maybe you have not been placed yet in the private group. The parents have asked that it be a private group, which is great. I agree with that 100%. Please reach out to me individually if you'd like to be in that group with your child or grandchild. Either way, it's okay. My preference is, though, that group is held, the space is held for children unless you're one of my volunteers. So if you'd like to be a volunteer, reach out to me as well. All right, and that's the last announcement. We'll go ahead and get started. The disclaimer is in the chat. If you are staying in the room, that means you've agreed to it. And if at any time you're feeling uncomfortable, just go ahead and hop off Zoom. Not a problem. Okay. And as always, we'll begin with eyes closed. And the first step is always to relax your body. So allowing yourself to settle into a comfortable, seated, lying down, standing position. Just so you know, those of you who do get busy doing other things, it's perfectly fine. But I often can smell the things you're cooking, hear your voices. The space assists me in being very telepathic. And sometimes the noise will result in responses from the beings who are here. So just know that if you are busy doing something else, my preference is that you're seated at least, and that you're aware that I can hear thoughts. The beings can hear your thoughts. It is the only way they communicate is through vibrational frequency. And as you relax into your place, allow yourself to scan your body, looking for areas of inconsistency. Maybe you have tension today in one area or another, and maybe your thoughts are already going. It's early morning where I am, but maybe you've already had a full day, and the thoughts of the day are just still bouncing around inside your brain. acknowledging them. It's all good. And breathing into that space, allowing space to come into tension or thoughts. And the healers are arriving. There are many beings coming in the space today. And the recommendation is that as you breathe in, you are assisting your physical 3D body in dissolving, meaning allowing it to be a peripheral character today, the body and the mind. As you breathe in, breathe space to allow your body to dissolve into nothing. And as you exhale, release love and connection to yourself, to your community, to your family, to the individuals in this space, whether they are 3D, 5D, or other dimensional beings. The exhale is connecting. The inhale is dissolving. And the blue healers have arrived in the space. Greeting them are the Pleiadian collective, the Arcturians, the 12th dimensional beings, several insectoid species, the stone people, and one singular reptilian youth who is here to observe on behalf of their entire collective, who will choose to come if they feel it is warranted. The violet people are also here, and as usual, they are here for the healing of a few individuals. You know who you are. If you are agreeable to them entering your space at this time for the purpose of connection and healing, simply grant them permission with your intention. If you are feeling that you do not wish to have them in your space, that is perfectly okay. Simply also send that out with your intention that today is not a good day, and either way, it is okay. The blue healers are many in their representation as well. And I, speaking on behalf of the blue healers, translating on behalf of the other extra dimensional beings who will allow me to translate for them. And you have called me and know my name as the Theta. And in this space, we will begin with the heart breath. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4, expanding the heart wide. And release the energy from front to back around the arms and up to 8. Continuing this breath cycle at your own pace, we will guide you with direction, but for those of you who know the practice, just continue at your own pace while we speak. Breathing in from energy centers 6 and 5, the forehead and the throat, allowing the breath to go to the heart, 4, where it will expand wide. As you release, the energy releases from the front of the heart, circling around the arms like the rings of Saturn, to the back of 4 at the heart, and rising up the spine, where the exhale will complete in 8. From 8, you breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Continuing in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. You are activating the glands at 6 and 5. Activating the gland at 4. Releasing front to back and up to 8. The collective information of all humanity resides in 8, in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 4 and 3. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 4 and 3. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 4, 3, and 2. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in 6 and 5 to 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 6 through 1. Release front to back and up to 8. In through 6 and 5 to 6 through 1. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Release front to back and up to 8. Slight variation in through 6 and 5 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Now release back to front and up to 8. And repeat in through 6 and 5 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back to front and up to 8. In through 6 and 5, again 7 through 1, all the energy centers at once. Release back to front and up to 8. Again in through 6 and 5, expanding 7 through 1, all the energy centers wide. Release back to front and up to 8, where you will then breathe in from 8 to 1 in a spiral around the spine, activating the DNA sequence. Release 1 to 8. Breathe in 8 to 2 in a spiral, activating the DNA sequence. Release 2 to 8. Breathe in 8 to 3 in a spiral, activating DNA sequence. Release 3 to 8. Breathe in 8 to 4 in a spiral, activating DNA sequence. Release 4 to 8. Breathe in 8 to 5, activating DNA sequence. 12 strands of DNA activation. Release 5 to 8. Breathe in 8 to 6, activating 12 DNA strands. Release 6 to 8. Breathe in 8 to 7 in a spiral, activating DNA sequencing. Release to 8. Breathe in 8 to 1 in a spiral, informing DNA 12-strand sequencing structure to the entire body. Release 1 to 8. And continue 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release 1 to 8. In 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release 1 to 8. In 8 to 0 in a spiral. 0 is just below 1. Release 0 to 9. 9 is just above 8. Activating the quantum field through the spine. In 9 to 0. Release 0 to 9. In 9 to 0. Release 0 to 9. Activating the space in the spine. 9 to 0. Breathe in. Release 0 to 9. In 9 to 0. Release 0 to 9. Last time. In 9 to 0. Release 0 to 9. And allow yourself to breathe at any pace which is comfortable for you, doing any breath that is comfortable for you. The Pleiadians have information they would like for us to express to you. The first is that the 12-strand DNA is the activation of starseed information. There are a few of you who have interest or concern about some type of dark energies. They would like for you to understand that in this space you are protected by the collective of the energy beings who are here. So if you are feeling any sense of fear, of attachment, of dark energy forces, it is time for you to explore within where that resides within you. There is no such thing as attachment. There is no such thing as a dark force outside of you that seeks to attach to you. There is only the vibrational frequency of attachment and of dark energies within you. This is a vibrational frequency that simply is slightly lower than what you desire. The remedy for this situation is always that you breathe into higher vibrational frequency in the breath practices that are released within this space. The quantum field itself is comprised of all energies in the universe combined. It is everything and nothing all at once. If you exist in a state of fear, that is going to enhance or activate dark or lower vibrational frequencies within you. There is nothing that any being in this space can do to assist with that, except to vibrate at a frequency where we exist and reside. That vibrational frequency is completely devoid of the lower vibrational frequency that many of you as humans equate to entities, dark forces, or dark energies that seek to, by your definition, attach to you. There is no such thing. Instead, you are generating within you a lower vibrational frequency that is resonating with lower vibrational beings or lower vibrational frequencies that you perceive to be outside of yourself. All you can do is to breathe in the higher vibrational frequency. It is only light that casts out the darkness in your 3D world. Think of it this way: shadows only exist because the light is creating an absence of itself due to a blockage of some kind. If you stand outside in the sun on your planet, you cast a shadow. The sun has not gone anywhere. If you move your body, the light will then be in the place where the shadow once existed. And so this becomes an interesting opportunity for you. How is it that you move out of your own way so that the higher vibrational frequency that you associate with light can illuminate the shadows within you? That is your adventure for today. That is your question for today. Applying blame outside yourself, applying fear within yourself, is the opposite direction of what it is you desire. So for today, those of you who still believe that there is something outside of you that wishes to attach, today is a grand adventure for you in knowing that there is nothing outside of you that wishes to attach. It is the vibrational frequency within you that wishes to reach out and experience more light. Or in your terms, in our terms together, light is a higher vibrational frequency. So enjoy the process and allow yourself the grace and the freedom to do whatever is required in order for you to illuminate those spaces within you. Be kind to yourself in the process. Today, the Pleiadians would also like to say that the activation of the 12 strands of DNA are coming forth on your planet. It is within this space, but also in many other spaces on your planet. And it is here that as this vibrational frequency of the 12 DNA sequence strands that are within you begin to illuminate that your starseed activation has begun. You can always deny this. You can always stick with the 2 strands of DNA that your science so commonly believes to be true. Either way, it is fine. Your belief, your choice is what matters. However, if you are choosing today to have additional strands of DNA activated so that your starseed information can shine through and you can communicate with extra dimensional beings, all of the extra dimensional beings here today welcome you into what you call contact. And everything is changing on your planet. This is the beginning of what you define as contact. And this activation of the 12 strands of DNA will begin to heighten your perceptual abilities, will begin to heighten your visual capabilities. However, if you are only seeking to experience contact auditorially through your ears or visually through your eyes, there will be quite a bit more practice required of you. Instead, look to heightened perceptual states in your skin. You call it feeling. However, your skin is the largest visual sense organ you have. As you close your eyes and experience the difference between light and darkness through your skin, you will begin to understand that you can see perfectly well without your eyes. You can hear perfectly well without your ears. It is the capacity of your skin to do both. So allow yourself in your meditation in these spaces to absorb information through your skin. In addition to that, as has been recommended in the past, it is time for you to enjoy the sunlight that is part of your solar system, the moonlight that is part of your lunar system, to enter in through this capacity of your skin. A few moments in direct sunlight begins to activate your skin in a way that will allow the visual capacity, the auditory capacity of your skin to be activated. The same is true of your moonlight. Absorb as much with as much surface area on your skin as possible in your sunlight, in your moonlight, in the starlight. You are being asked to enjoy a few minutes a day of sunlight, of moonlight, of starlight, at any time your climate permits, as much surface area of your skin as possible. Enjoy the process of being outside, even if it is very cold where you live. And so, this is the Pleiadian information for today. The beings present are ready for your first question when you are ready to speak.
Question from Natalie. Dear Blue Healers, after finishing an hour-long meditation, I was able to navigate my room and interact with objects even though I was wearing a blindfold and didn't realize it. What happened in this moment? Was I perceiving through my etheric or inner vision? And how can I continue to strengthen and work with this ability in a safe, grounded way, with love and gratitude?
This is exactly as the Pleiadians have spoken. You are activating your DNA sequence of 12 strands, and you are activating the perceptual capability of your skin. You are allowing yourself to see through your skin. This very 3D experience is how the extra dimensional communication happens. And so, by practicing with your blindfold to see and move throughout your room, means that the tiny openings, the tiny energy centers, as were determined by specific beings on your planet many thousands of years ago, are opening as well. These tiny energy centers are a visual capacity. Congratulations, you are on your way. Simply practice now with moving out of one room into other rooms. Try this as many times as possible and enjoy the experience. Laugh when it becomes something of a challenge. Perhaps you will walk into something. Laugh a little and say to yourself, how far I have come, how much I have learned, how open my visual capacity is through my skin. My human body is expanding in its perceptual abilities. Continue the process, enjoy the experience, and allow others to hear about your experiences in this space or others. Talk to everybody, even if you feel they're not open to it. Say, I had the most extraordinary experience. I was meditating and I got up and forgot to remove my blindfold. And there I was walking around my room, knowing where everything was. Others who are not in this space may say, "Oh, you just remembered because you walk through your room all the time. You have that experience all the time," and allow them to be in a disbelieving place. However, just you mentioning it will begin to activate within them their ability to perceive through their skin as well, to see light and dark with their skin as well. It starts with you perceiving the difference between light and dark from the skin, allowing your brain, which you believe to be in your head, however, it is throughout your body. Every cell is part of your brain. You will begin to expand this perception and this awareness while also activating the experience in those around you simply by discussing it in a whimsical way, a light way, with no attempt to change others. And so, for those of you who are parents, who have children who are small, particularly those younger than 10 or 11, you may find that this could be a fun activity you do with your children. Allow this game that you do together to be something fun, and only if they are interested. And maybe your teenagers would like to do the same. Invite others to be part of the experience. This is how you expand as a collective, because as we will remind you, the breath is the language you all share. And the eighth energy center is the collective of all of humanity. Every time you inhale and exhale, you are accessing the eighth energy center. You are accessing it with drawing in information. You and everyone on the planet draws in information. As you exhale, you release information to the eighth energy center. So the information of the ability to perceive through your skin goes into the eighth energy center. And others who are perhaps unsuspecting as they breathe in, draw in that information inadvertently, and it becomes part of their cell structure and who they are. So, as you can see, with your intention, as you deposit that information into the eighth energy center, someone else is consciously or unconsciously allowing their breath to bring it into their cells to activate their DNA strands. And this is how the collective of humanity changes as a whole. We are ready for your next question.
Question from Wendy. At Joe Dispenza retreats, it is said that some people who experience healing from the blue healers have great pain during the healing, with the explanation that this is necessary for vibrational reasons. And yet, during these sessions with our channel, you say you heal us completely and pain doesn't seem to be a part of this. Can you clarify or correct misunderstandings on this subject, please?
This is an excellent question. As the group here, the blue healers who are here, several of them are part of the collective of many different retreats of the kind where meditation and healing processes exist. Both things are true. The vibrational frequency, as it is released from our kind to your kind, is simply that, a vibrational frequency. The human body, however, has its own set of rules and its own set of experiences, its own set of beliefs, habits, and patterns, its own cultural lineages, its own experiences all around for each individual. Even those of your kind who are twins can have vastly different experiences, even if your science perceives that their DNA sequence is precisely the same. Why is that so? So, why is it then that any one individual's experience will be the same as another? You, as a collective in humanity, have decided that you would like to experience pain. Bravo to you for allowing the 3D body to speak to you in ways that are so obvious, meaning it, in some ways, is a wonderful thing that you get to experience pain. You get to say to yourself, that hurt a lot, so therefore I have gotten more value out of it. I have suffered more, so therefore I have gotten more value out of it. And for some of you, with the inadvertent experience of pain, where you say in your mind, why would I even do that? I don't believe it's necessary to have this pain when I am transitioning from one state of being to another. Consider the possibility that you have bought into the narrative of the collective of humanity, and this is the only reason that you have a 3D body. Congratulations, you're part of it either way. So here you are in a space requesting healing, and your body is excruciatingly painful, because the vibrational frequency that is so low within you, that has created illness within you, the vibrational frequency that we have recently discussed as being an entity. Perhaps illness is simply what you might describe as an entity. It is a vibrational frequency inhabiting your body that is there without your permission, your conscious permission. However, your unconscious mind is operational. Your psychologists have made this conversation extremely popular. Find yourself diving into that information. It will assist you in relieving yourself from the need to have it as operational unconsciously within you. Learning for humans is part of the process of releasing vibrational frequencies that are lower in nature, and perhaps in nature's is a way that you do not desire, meaning your illness. And so, for some of you, the release of the lower vibrational frequency that is manifested in the form of illness is not without discomfort. As it leaves, it wants to remind you that you are releasing some form of vibrational frequency that may be a little bit lower. However, there are many of you who have expressions of illness within your body with no pain and no symptoms. Your science can confirm this, can it not? It can say that person has cancer, a stage 4, a stage whatever, and it is so far advanced that it is a miracle that there were no symptoms. It is a miracle that they did not detect it sooner, that no doctor detected it, that your blood panels did not detect it. Why would it be then that another person with the exact same type of cancer, who has been tracking it all along from precancerous cells to stage 4 challenges, whatever they may be, and the pain is excruciating? Why is that the case? Two cancers, same diagnosis, one person without pain and symptoms, the other with pain and symptoms all along. These are choices within the individuals for how to express the two-strand DNA. And so it is the same on the opposite side, as you may perceive it. In the healing process, there may be a release where one person has no symptoms whatsoever. There may be a release of the exact same vibrational frequency of whatever it is, that another person will feel it, and it will be a terrible experience. Be okay with the possibility that all things can exist at once, that there can be a range from excruciating pain to no pain at all. And then you say in your own head, why is it that I would choose pain? How ridiculous. I would never do such a thing. I would never choose this type of pain. It is something outside of me that is creating this. And so then the human becomes a victim of their condition. You have choices. Perhaps you can lean into the pain and the experience and say, I love you, whatever you are, wherever you are here. I am not a victim. I choose to love my pain. I choose to love my suffering. I choose to love this experience in the 3D body without ever having to know why my situation manifested the way it did. When that person over there gets to be free of symptoms, that person over there gets to be free of illness, and that person over there, I dislike that person very much because that person is dancing around all happy through the world. Don't they know that all life is suffering? Don't they know that pain exists because we are human? Don't they know that they will achieve more and greater benefit if they suffer more? I dislike that person who is so joyful over there. I resent them for being what they are. Think about this. Think about your thoughts. You can lean into hate. You can lean into dis-ease, discomfort, and vibrational frequencies that do not support the love and connection that you desire. You can lean into it in several ways. You can lean into it with fear, with hatred, with disgust, with revulsion, with something outside of yourself is causing you this problem. Or you can lean into it with love. Em- Embrace the ugliness of humanity that is within you. Embrace the fear. Embrace the terror that you may die in this condition. Embrace it all. It is true. There are conditions for which humans will choose to transition from the condition, the pain, the suffering, the symptoms. In your world, you call it dying. And the vast majority of your kind live in terror of death itself, as if it is coming for you, as if it is an experience to fear, as if it is something so awful that if it takes a child, it must be deranged. It must be so messed up in your world that it would take a child from you. What monstrous creature would capture the heart, the livelihood, the life, the innocence of a child? You have named this monster death, and it is coming for all of you. Think of this narrative and how limited it is, that the vast majority of you perceive death as an entity outside yourselves that is going to come for you eventually. Why does this narrative exist? You have a vibrational frequency of your own individuality. And it is true that in the 3D world, this vibrational frequency will begin to shift and change, and that you will simply cease to exist in your 3D body. The vibrational frequency of the body will choose to age, will choose to change, and eventually it will give up the hold, meaning your essence within you will give up the hold on the 3D experience. And what will happen then? The vibrational frequency that is your essence will traverse into another way of being. It is simply another way of being. It is without a body. You have not died. Your body has chosen to return to its original form, which is part of the earth itself. You have not died. None of you have ever died in the many incarnations you have had. None of you have ever died. The vibrational frequency that is your essence has taken new form. And what so many of you do in beautiful homage to the earth itself, what many of you, your vibrational essence has chosen again and again to make love to the earth herself, to be reborn in that beautiful joining of the sperm and the egg. Hopefully, for you in a state of love and connection. And hopefully for you, the new experience that you have in the new adventure that you have chosen will be slightly different, slightly more coherent and loving and connected than the previous one. These choices are yours. And so to go back to the original question, your body may ache, your body may hurt in the healing process. Love it for what it is. The vibrational pattern and frequency of who you have become as an individual is going to dictate the experience you have in every moment. So what if it hurts? Enjoy the pain, suffer, struggle, curse, scream out. Allow it to be a horrifying experience. And there is still the vibrational pattern of the essence of who you are within you, who can love even that, who can love the horrible experience your body is going through. That part of you is the only part of you that has the ability to create change in the stories and the narratives you have created in your life. And so it is, the other person dances freely under the tree of life, and the leaves of blessings shower down upon them. And you can hate them or you can love them. You can be them or you can be who you are. Your choice comes through in every moment. And even if you say to yourself, I choose to be pain-free, and the pain comes anyway. And then what happens? You're mad at that. You're mad at yourself. How did I mess this up again? It's the wrong direction for you. Instead, love yourself. Ha! Look what I have done. I have created pain again. I have created suffering again. But I also have the ability to create love again. I can create connection again. I can create coherence again. And I know that every time I breathe in, I can dissolve myself into nothing. So one breath can change your entire perception of the experience you are having. We are complete with the answer to this question and are ready for the next.
Question from Nicole. Hi Blues, it's me. What might account for one person perceiving Jesus the Ascended Master as a reluctant to engage and bearing a dual current of shadow, while another person feels only warmth, infinite approachability, and light? Are these reflections of the perceiver, of the master, or of dimensional interference?
This is a truly wonderful question. We have been waiting for at least one of you to ask questions about the religions on your planet. The being that you call Jesus was an individual who had a vibrational pattern and frequency from his starseed origin that was potent enough to impact others of your kind on your planet. In doing so, he became what so commonly happens with your kind, a more revered individual than the others. This starseed information and the vibrational frequency associated with it activated pure-hearted connection within individuals enough that it vibrated through the many layers of human tissue. The information came at a time when humanity required an intervention, a nudge by extra-dimensional beings, allowing the collective of humanity to create a new course for and possibility of higher vibrational frequencies. And so this is what you feel when you enter into churches of the kind that worship this being who existed. We would not say this is interdimensional interference. Instead, it is that humanity has at times over the course of its evolution encountered experiences whereby they needed a little nudge in a different direction. And it was within this particular group, the collective of those who followed that individual, where the vibrational frequency of light was introduced. And so a lot of the mythology and the stories around the collective of that religion are synchronous with the concept of increased light. And so the story is that individual carried a lot of light. And this light was simply a higher vibrational frequency that, as you can see, has collectively impacted many humans on the planet worldwide. And as you can also see through your history, that humans have had the express desire to use it as a weapon, to use it as excuses for other things, and to use the vibrational frequency for their own desires and for their own purposes of manipulation. And how this question relates to the overall understanding of religion on your planet and how extra dimensional beings have incorporated this information as a way to nudge humanity is very singular. So one may perceive this individual as being light, and one may perceive the individual as being dark. That is only true for the individual asking the question. That is only true for the individual within. And our recommendation is that the higher vibrational frequencies are the ones for which you are here seeking change within yourselves. Whatever it is that you need to name them is a good coping strategy. Whatever narratives and stories you need to allow your heart to be in a greater coherent state is something that is recommended for a time. However, understanding that it is the vibrational frequency that you seek, not the narratives or the stories around it, which are infused with human coping strategies impacted by the survival mechanism within all humans. The narratives and the stories are only valuable if they elevate the vibrational frequency to create a greater sense of coherence in the heart, the brain, and the belly at the same time. So for the person who asked this question, it is for you to decide, is this narrative, the experience, truly necessary? Or are you seeking an even more coherent form of vibrational frequency within you? It is okay, either way, just to acknowledge where you are within the process is certainly important. And on a side note, a very similar experience where humanity is receiving a little nudge is happening on your planet now. However, it is vastly different. It has nothing to do with an individual. There is no figurehead. Because so many of you have exceeded the need for that experience, unlike humans of thousands of years ago, this will be a far more subtle nudge in the direction of what you call contact. So congratulations, you understand now how extra-dimensional beings have already assisted humanity in their evolution. This is a much greater conversation for another time, and many extra-dimensional beings have things they would like to say about it. It is recommended to have a session that is solely about Christianity alone and other religions as they arise in this space from those of you who understand have information about, or are still practicing some type of religion anywhere on your planet. The transmissions are complete for today. We would like to thank you for your questions, for your interest in our work, and for your tenacity in your own vibrational being to continue on in the human form, bringing love and connection into your own heart. This will greatly reduce many of the struggles that you have in your lives. Going forward, we also would like to discuss more about what you describe as manifestation, so that you can better understand how to utilize the primary energy centers of the human body to approach energetically and draw in that which you desire. So we look forward to those questions as well. The Pleiadians, Arcturians, Andromedans, reptilian, insectoid, and the violet people are all receding from the space. The 12th dimensional beings are continuing to stay with those of you who struggle with physical illness, so long as you permit them to be in your space. The violet beings are also doing the same. They are participating with individuals for the sake of healing, so long as they are permitted by you to be in their space. And now, with our final message, we say that you are always welcome to ask us direct questions in your meditations. Work with the perceptual abilities of your body and allow yourself to continue. Allow yourself to continue to connect with us directly. With gratitude, we leave the space. I would like to speak for a moment about the random nature of me not actually setting any type of alarms in my phone. But the information around religion, sorry, I'm managing the energy in my physical body. The information around religion, specifically Christianity, apparently they are ready to speak about it. There have been questions in the past that have come up. And the new extra dimensional group, I simply would not allow them to speak without identifying themselves and making it clear where they're coming from. So the Andromedan group was very helpful in communicating with them through their persistence and desire to discuss Christianity, which is a fascinating topic. So for those of you who have any relationship to the Christian faith, either you were raised in it or you know about it, you've heard about it, or you've read any history books about what happened along the way in the name of religion itself, that would be a wonderful talk. So maybe that'll be the next special event. Is that would be a great way to do it, is in a special event. So keep an eye out for that, so that those of you who are curious about the vibrational frequency of Jesus, this is the first experience I've had of it being intensely perceived by my physical body. And technology has a way of putting a pause on things. So I'm grateful for that, so that I can develop the relationship there. And in a way, as I've said, I always wish to be in charge of the narrative of information that comes through and the beings who speak. And they're all very respectful of that space. So that was what was going on. I just wanted to give you a follow-up on my experience there. It was quite intense. And I think my body was probably moving. I definitely felt it inside. No pain, just a lot of vibrational frequency moving around in there. So if you have any questions specifically about that, I will give you an opportunity to unmute yourselves. So give me a moment to change the setting. And you are welcome to ask questions about that specifically or any clarification questions. I have time for maybe 2, possibly 3 questions.
Jan,
Yes.
it's
Hi,
Nicole. I'm
Lisa.
on Lisa's phone. We're sitting here in her office. Just a
Hi, Nicole.
question. Was the group the pink group, do you think? The pinks that have been contacting me?
Nope, they were
Okay.
not pink.
Okay.
Yes. But thank you for asking. And let's bring them forward when we do the group session just about that.
Okay. Okay, cool. Because they kind of led me to this Jesus question. So awesome. Thanks, Jan.
Here's a good one. Thanks for bringing it up.
Hello, Jan. Tim here.
Hi, Tim.
Hello. I had thought about a question. I think I told you I'd been asking questions and feeling like I was getting some pretty good answers. And it's interesting how I get an answer and then they're kind of confirmed in your channeling session. But a few weeks ago, they said about it was going to take 200 to 400 years to kind of evolve beyond the religions that have caused the duality. And I'm just wondering why it's going to take so long, because I was brought up in the Christian faith, and I've kind of evolved beyond that. It was an accessory that may have served me for a time, but I feel like, the good without God thing is part of my agenda, and the John Lennon Imagine song as lyrics. So I just wondered what your thoughts are on that, and whether I should I'm not a very patient person. You may know me, remember that. I want it now kind of thing. So the idea of having to wait for the wake up call to penetrate, and so I can feel more connected to people, because the religion gets in the way a lot of times, and I feel the pain of it in my heart. It causes me to cry. I hate that belief system that gets in the way of the love of all of us together. Any help?
Love this question. And Tim, and we've known each other for decades.
Yeah.
And we've had this conversation over the years, which I love that it's coming back up in a new context. And this new group that arrived today, very, they were very, they had a lot to say, and they're saying it all at once. And yes, I remember that timeline, that 200 years, and things are speeding up significantly. 2 things I could say to that, both coming from having a background in being trained as a shaman and understanding indigenous traditions, is that time in the future is unwritten. And many things can change time, and our perception of time itself shifts. And then there are timelines that exist in 3D reality. So my sense is, and just today is when it came up, so it's great that you're asking this question right now, is that there are individuals and we have timelines. And for just an ease of giving a visual, say that there's a timeline that we're on, and it is the pervasive timeline that is the past pushing us into the future. And say there are just millions of other tendrils of timelines out there in front of us, and that any work that we do in psychology, energetically, even physically, we can adjust the timeline that we're on. We can collapse timelines. I've been to healers that collapse timelines for us. So if you're on a timeline when you're sick, collapsing that timeline is not a terrible thing, right? Whereas in your mind, you might say, oh, collapsing a timeline, then this XYZ will happen. Not necessarily. We have to expand the possibility that, in the mind, that anything is possible. And I love when people come to me and they're like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to believe that's possible. Great. And then we have something to work with. It's when we have the more limited mindset, it's challenging, right? So religion has a lot of limited thinking, because unfortunately in the world, religions today believe that they're all separate. That's very limited in itself. And when the basic premise is that ours is better than yours, or whatever the story is. So we have collective information and a collective timeline, and numerous collective timelines as humanity. And so today, and this is the very first time I've ever heard this, is that that was a nudge from 5D, that Jesus was a nudge from 5D. I have never heard that before. I couldn't have made that up in my mind. I have maybe could imagine that, someone has said in the past, Jesus was an alien here to, change humanity. And why not? Anything's possible, right? Um, but this was the first time I received direct information, and I tend to go on the direct information I get and the resonance of other things that other people say. So today I'm just, it opened a box of curiosity for me, where I can say, okay, I want to go back and have that conversation with the beings who were here themselves to see what their perspective is. So it could be, Tim, that we are going to have a collapsed timeline for all of humanity. I can see that as a possibility because the nudge that is coming is not going to be so obvious and direct. It is much more subtle, and that's the message I've been getting for the last 3 months at least, is that now the activation of starseed information within this 12-strand DNA structure, our science can't detect it because we're busy talking about two, which is great. We didn't know that 100 years ago, so why not? Let's dive into that conversation. I find science wonderful and fascinating and illuminating in so many ways. So I would say don't attach to that idea in your mind. Allow it to unfold as it does, and time is speeding up. I think we all can feel that on some level. Let's see how it
Yeah,
goes.
thank you.
Well, let's see if
Thank
we
you,
can pull
Joe.
a new number.
Yeah. 2
Yeah,
months would be good.
where we unify the heart connection through
Yeah,
vibrational frequency of coherence. I think that's more like it. Yeah.
because it seems like my immune system is, I'm shaking now and I get very emotional. It feels like I'm really so hungry and impatient, like I say, for this connection to happen. And anything that a Christian described to me that she had a firm conviction. And I said, it sounds like the conviction is keeping you trapped in some limited thinking, and I didn't want to insult, you kind of try and keep the love while you're saying something that maybe asks them to question themselves a bit more. And that's the part I struggle with. And it's very physical. Maybe I'm one of these people that's addicted to suffering. The pain is definitely there.
I don't know.
So I'll
My whole body's vibrating right now too. I don't know if anyone
yes.
else is experiencing that, but
Oh dear.
I am literally rocking back and forth if you can't
Yes,
see it on the
me
video.
too.
Yeah,
Me
so my
too.
whole body is vibrating still from the experience. So yeah,
Oh, well,
I'm right
I
there with you.
love you,
I'm not
Joanne.
having any
Thank you.
pain. I'm just noticing that
No, that's it.
yeah,
That's what I've got going on. Yeah.
yeah, my whole body is vibrating. I'm just letting it happen because it
Yeah,
was a
good. Okay.
very, very potent vibrational frequency from the beings that entered. Great. I don't even know what dimension they're from, but I couldn't get a visual on them at all. So I'm guessing it's above 5. But we'll see because I can see the ones all the way up through 7. And I'm just really excited about what that might be. So yeah, religion is always a curiosity. I grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I was taught by nuns. Um, I I visit every Catholic church I see in the world if I have an opportunity when I travel. I think they're beautiful. And think about that. That is something that came through today that was so incredible is that look at what Christianity has done for raising and rapidly raising the light or the vibrational frequency of loving the quote son of God, as they say it, right? In Christianity, that
Absolutely.
Jesus was the Son of God. How close is that? And
Yes.
if for anyone who's ever experienced Christianity, you go into a church that has been imbued with the vibrational frequency of that love and connection, it is uplifting. And so
It
that
is. I
itself,
felt it. Yeah.
just that subtle feeling around it, my mind went today.
Yeah.
Wow. It seemed obvious after I said it out loud from the channeling, and then it was like, I can't believe I didn't know that beforehand. It was like, yeah. So that was a quantum shift or a quantum leap in humanity if we choose to see it that way. I'm choosing to see it that way as a quantum leap
Me
in
too.
humanity. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate you bringing that up. Does anyone else have a
Right.
question?
I do. Hi, Jan. We met at the San Diego conference. It's lovely to see you today. It's so interesting because I was torn between two questions for this session. One of them was about Jesus and his connection with what I think of as my galactic group or origin, because I have a remembrance about being sent here or wanting to come here to explore Jesus' realm. Those were the words that came to me when I had that remembrance. So it's so interesting that that's what came through, and I'm so thrilled that you're going to explore that later. And then my second question, and what also brought me here today, was that a couple of days I had the weirdest experience. You told me that I was going to channel sooner than I anticipated, but a couple of days ago I went to sleep and I saw your face very clearly. And then I started channeling what I think is channeling in my sleep. It was a first experience doing that. They were my words, but they were not my thoughts clearly. And I attempted to fill in the gaps, and I was told to not do that, to let the words come. And I wanted you to validate if that's even possible. Can you do that in your sleep? And it was a very random but very specific message that came through. But yeah, I just wanted to ask about, yeah, channeling in your sleep. And I also saw your face, which was really weird.
Welcome back. Yeah, I've channeled in my sleep a lot, actually.
Oh,
Sometimes I get very busy and the blue healers will just come talk to me while I am asleep. But I don't know that we're actually ever asleep. It's just the body goes to sleep. And for me, a lot of times when my body's asleep, my mind will be awake and I will channel that way. And then I have notebooks all over the place, but I will write down what I experience or what I perceive when I channel. So that's a great place to start. If you're channeling in your sleep, chances are the beings are attempting to talk to you in your waking state. They just have not made contact in a way that you can perceive. So allow yourself just to be patient and kind with yourself as you unfold in that process.
and is it possible to ask them for, because I also very funny that it came up in the session today about the skin being like the biggest organ, like for contact and developing that communication. That's how I usually get in contact with other types of with angelic beings, and that's how I feel them. So I'm guessing they've been coming through in the same way, and I just can't really discern what is what at this point. Are there any specific signs, or could I ask them for a specific sign, I guess, or a specific tap, a specific sensation so that I can know when it's them?
Just ask to channel them, the angelic beings. You already have a connection there. So
Yeah.
just simply ask to channel them, and they may ask you to do it through your through a pen. So
Okay.
that's my suggestion. Yeah. Thank you for the question. And
Thank
it's
you so
great to
much.
see you here.
Yeah.
I want to make I you'll be getting an email to join the Telegram group. That's a great when you're connected in there. You can find me there if you haven't already. But you have my business card so you can reach out to me and I'll put you into the Telegram group. For those of you who are here the first time or listening to the recording for the first time, reach out so that you can be put in the group. Right now it's a Telegram group. May move to another platform, but right now it's in Telegram, and make sure you get into that. That's where the questions go. So
So
thank you,
exciting.
Lisa.
Thank you, Jan,
Yeah,
so much. I send you an
thank you so
email.
much.
I'll resend it so I can bump it to the top of your inbox then. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. All right, a pleasure seeing all of you, sending you tons of love from Honolulu, from the beach, from the beauty of Hawaii, and just couldn't thank you enough for being here. It's really wonderful to connect with each of you. Have a beautiful day or night, wherever you are.